I feel like every time I make a video that summarizes multiple platforms, one of these platforms is going to change everything the next day, so that video becomes useless. And that happened to me right now with the fact that Etsy is now charging $15 to start a shop on Etsy. It's the first time that Etsy is not free. And I'm not talking about the listing fees, I'm talking about the fact that it literally costs money to start a new shop on Etsy. It's a one-time payment. And that relates to the fact that I was literally comparing how to sell printful items when it comes to like Shopify, Etsy, Squarespace, WooCommerce, and Fourthwall. And Etsy and Fourthwall were the only two free options to start with, and now it's not. So Etsy is now going to cost money, but I actually have a lot more updates when it comes to Etsy, whether you're selling print-on-demand, printables, or your actual handmade items, which was like the purpose of Etsy. Does anybody remember that? And I will go over these updates and the things that I found online right after I introduce myself for those of you who are somehow in this channel and don't know who I am. So, hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Mero and I teach creative people how to sell their art online. And today we're talking about a bunch of things that Etsy did. So the first thing that they did is, of course, set up this fee to set up your own shop. It's $15 now to open a shop. And I'm going to leave links down below to everything that I mentioned. So setup fee to open your Etsy shop, you may be required. It's very confusing. May be required to pay a one-time setup fee of $15 US or the converted equivalent in your local currency. Please note, if applicable, the setup fee will be displayed and charged as part of the shop setup process. So for example, as a part of you paying for your listings. It's still unclear who might be exempt from that and when did this start. It's still unclear how this is going on. We still have the 20 cents to list an item, but now it's also $15 to open a store. Now, one thing that I really wanted for this video is the informational source of the Etsy community forums. And this morning when I logged into this, I saw this. Access denied. I was literally searching something on Google and there was like a link to an Etsy community post about this for me to read, but I can't read it because I don't have any access, because as of the 26th of March, I have to be signed in to see the forum. I don't know if you guys notice, but I am signed in. I'm literally signed in. There is my face in the side. I can sign out. And if I click on the login to the Etsy community space, nothing happens. That link does nothing. So overnight, I am just blocked from looking at Etsy forum, even though that account that is connected to it technically has a store, an old store that I used to make tutorials on. So I don't know about you guys. Can someone tell me if you can access the Etsy community? I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know. Look, I would have issued a support ticket, but I don't expect them to come back to me anytime soon. Moving on to the next thing, which Etsy also increased regulatory operating fees. I've never heard this term before. I told you, every time I was talking about Etsy fees, I was like, I don't know. I think I mentioned it in the comparison between Shopify, Squarespace, WooCommerce, Fourthwall, and Etsy, how to sell printful, that I was talking about. It's easier to understand Canva terms and service than Etsy fees. So I never knew that they had regulatory operating fees, which they increased them for Spain and Turkey and added them for people from India and Vietnam. So people from Spain will now pay 0.72%. It's like less than 1% in order to operate on Etsy as of April 1st. Turkey, it went up from 1.1% to 2.27%. And also starting April, people from India will be charged 0.29% and people from Vietnam will be charged 1.24%. And now they explain it. For example, we hope the impact on your business remains small. For example, sellers in Spain will see 6-cent regulatory operating fee increase on a €20 order. The current list of countries who are paying regulatory operation fees is the UK, France, Italy, Spain, and Turkey. And of course, we've now added India and Vietnam. Now, this is a bit of a fast news video. I want to move on to the next news, which is the Etsy mockups, which I feel like a lot of people have been talking about being banned from the platform and not finding even the correct place where it says that you're not allowed to use external mockups. So this is the closest thing that I found to the items that you are allowed or not allowed. It's on Etsy legal policies, listing image requirements. Again, there will be a link to that down below. Now, there is the listing image requirement guidelines for items with a production partner. A lot of people state the beginning, which is our marketplace is built on trust and transparency, and general listing images must be of the item itself, not a rendering or a stock photo. And this comes more clear when they talk about the actual production partners. So if an item is created with production assistance, aka print on demand, the listings photos should be of the finished product, which means I ordered this t-shirt and I took a photo of it myself on me, or mug, or an image supplied by the production partner in order for them to accurately show what the item is. Sellers are responsible for ensuring that these images properly represent their finished items. I have heard of a lot of people who got banned from Etsy. Some of them posted on the Etsy forum. I cannot access it now. I'm guessing they can't either if they're banned from Etsy. But a lot of people got banned from Etsy for using external mockups, such as mockups from Placeit, because on Etsy specifically, they do not allow to use mockups that do not come from your production partner. And I think that this is something more to consider now, because if your production partner gives you a very nice t-shirt, but they don't give you enough mockups to use or good mockups to use, you might have an issue if you're selling on Etsy. On this, I would like to take a side note and say that doesn't mean you can't use Placeit at all. Let's say you're an Etsy seller and you already purchased a 1-year Placeit membership, or Mockup Mark, or you're doing your own mockups with Kittl or with Canva. You can still use these mockups when advertising your store, when doing social media, when Instagram, TikTok, because Placeit has videos and stuff like that, or Pinterest or blogging. So don't think that you can't use them when referring to your Etsy shop. This is just only on your Etsy shop. And I actually made a full video talking about mockups in general and how to create a good mockup. And I will leave a link to that one down below. Moving on to people raving about Etsy now is going to be banning people who upload any kind of political content. I've seen a lot of things like on the title, because I can't actually read the forum, talking about, oh, everything you design for Trump is going to get blocked, or everything you design for Biden. I've even seen YouTubers who made headlines with it. So all of them are stating this article, Etsy prohibits items policy update targeting political activism, violence, and hate. And can someone please show me where in this entire article they're saying that Etsy is against political items? I mean, they removed the word political from one of the old versions, but in fact, if I look at the actual list, even the list provided by this website of prohibited items policy, and I search for the word politics, the only thing I can find is 2 times the word political or politics come at the end with the reading materials explaining what democracy is, and that you can't use your own politics on their marketplace or something like that. There is nowhere in the Etsy legal what you're allowed to sell and what are the prohibited items list that you're not allowed to sell political designs. The word politics doesn't appear when it references anything that is prohibited other than the reading material for something. So I think this is like a big hype. I do know that a lot of people get banned for these things. I think that when you are entering a political niche, people would report you more, and that maybe Etsy is not really checking into all of these reports to see if they're actually accurate or not. But politics is alive and kicking in Etsy on Etsy. So if someone knows what this article is actually about, please let me know, because I've seen YouTubers do a lot of very big clickbait videos about this, and I'm seeing a lot of Trump and Biden over on Etsy, for good or for bad. So I actually haven't encountered this at all. There will be 2 other changes for sellers on the platform, and this came up from the announcement, which is the only thing I have access to in the community, because apparently I need to log in when I'm already logged in with a link that doesn't work, but fine, which is that there will be an enhanced identity check for the shop setup process, where you basically have to upload a photo of your ID and a photo of you, like a selfie. And this will be to confirm that you are truly yourself, as well as those $15 fees that we mentioned. And I like the language, I'm sorry. And when I like, I mean hate. Exploring changes to payment schedules for new shops. What does that mean? Let me tell you what I think it means. In my opinion, exploring how we can delay paying you. So we're looking into changes to the payment schedules for new shops until they have a proven track record of sales, which means we're not looking into pay you faster, we're looking into pay you later until you have a proven track record of sales on Etsy. These changes may affect how long new shops need to wait for their funds to become available. If you're selling print on demand, I would like to remind you, you are paying for the item. The buyer pays you, you pay on the item. I'm sorry, but the buyer pays your Etsy store and they're going to withhold that money. We don't know right now for how long. If you're selling printables, that's just dumb, because it shouldn't be more than 2-3 days after that for that money to become available. The person can literally download it in an instant. And if you're selling anything handmade that you made yourself, including shipping it yourself, you're going to be seriously out of pocket. Now, is Etsy dead? Is Etsy messing things up? Should you not open an Etsy store? Well, I don't think a lot of people should be on Etsy to begin with. And I've been saying it for a while. You have zero control over your shop on Etsy. You have zero control over your branding. You're literally bringing in traffic for people to buy from your competitors. And they've done so many changes that got so many people pissed off. However, they do have 500,000 views a month, which we don't know how many of them are buyers and how many of them are, sellers who are logging in every day to the platform. The platform actually dropped a little bit, which is expected because we're looking at data that compares December to February, and there is a drop between December and February. What can we do? It's just consumerism and the dates of it all. But I think it raises a very serious question about what people should be doing with Etsy. And to be honest, I would love a comment down below. What do you think about it? Let's have a conversation about how you feel about Etsy. And if you could add into your comment if you were thinking about starting Etsy and this is discouraging you from doing this, or I was thinking about starting an Etsy store and I think I will still do it because this is my best option. Or if you're an existing Etsy seller and these changes and this lack of control is scaring you, I would really love to hear what stage or what step you're on and how these news of Etsy and all of these things that they're doing are hitting you personally. And of course, like this video if you find it useful, and subscribe to the channel for more cool content about things relating to print on demand and selling and making money online. I was really hoping to make a different video in the last few days, but this kind of bumped in with the news. So this is the video I went for. And the next time you're going to see me is going to be on the 1st of April. I'm not going to prank you guys, I think. I haven't found a good prank yet. But the next time you're going to see me will be on the 1st of April with my monthly first of the month video, which usually is like a topic and goals. And in this case, it's going to be my print on demand apartment. I'm going to give you a tour of my 1-bedroom apartment in Bansko, Bulgaria, with, I do believe, over 200 print-on-demand items just lying around there from multiple suppliers that I will try to remember. I think it's a little bit of a combination of a personal video, hey, come into my apartment, I'll show you around, nothing fancy, and also a combination of looking at print-on-demand items as well as looking at my full set from the other direction of how it looks and how it looks when I'm filming a video, like how the entire room layout looks like in the room that I'm working. And I think like it will also maybe make some people feel better about themselves, because I do know when I just started out, whether it was with print on demand or with YouTube, all of these YouTubers who have this office and this $2 million home and everything is Pinterest perfect, definitely not what you're going to see here. You're going to see a mattress topper rolled over the closet, and you're going to see a bunch of filming equipment laying around everywhere and a big mess. And I hope that you will enjoy it. But with that being said, that was it for me for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. I hope you heard something new. Let's discuss about this in the comments. And as usual, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!